All right, Michelle. Michelle, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I grew up in Newtown, Connecticut, but I was born on Rota in the Northern Mariana Islands,
What is that close to?
Guam,
Guam.
but they're further up a little bit. I'm Chamorro, because a lot of people ask, what's my race? So I'm Chamorro. And we were adopted, me and my sister. I have other siblings, but it was just me and my sister who were adopted. I was 2, she was 1. So we were adopted by a couple that are from Newtown. And they're very well known in the town for what he does. So I don't remember much up until I was about 7 or 8. Me and my sister, we started wondering why certain things just didn't add up. We didn't celebrate birthdays. We didn't know we never had a birthday party, but we would go to other people's birthday and we were like, wow. And then we would go to their house, the neighbor's house, and we would see their rooms, and their rooms was all pretty and had toys. But in our house, there was no sign of kids. There was no toys.
Can I ask, back up a little bit and ask, why did your biological parents lose you?
My mother had an affair, and then I guess my father found out and didn't want to be in the relationship anymore, so they went their ways. She ended up doing things that this is from what she did. She suffered depression after that. And she put us in a car, me and my siblings, and she pretty much just left us there in the jungle to die. But someone found us, a family member, and my baby brother was full of mosquitoes. He was only not even a month old. He was a newborn. So after she had him, I guess she went into a depression, but back then depression wasn't even known or talked about, especially on the island. It's so remote. So that happened. So my biological father knew a couple from the States, and he figured they would be great for me and my sister to go and at least get a better education, get out the islands, and So let me see. So that happened. We ended up living there with the adopted parents.
How was that?
It was tough. She was very abusive, physical and verbal. She didn't like us at all. We were used as like they did something great. We were just like a product. We weren't loved at all. But she abused, and then he was more of the touch type person, like to touch us.
Inappropriately?
Yes, a lot of times. A lot with me more than my sister. My sister really suffered more of the physical abuse. I got it too, but I think I got more of the other physical touch type thing. And I started to remember that around 7 or 8, and I started getting feelings wait, something, I don't like this, that. And when he started showing me pornography, he would bring me downstairs at night and make me sit there and watch porn with him. And he would get off on that. And then obviously he'd do things because that was appealing to him. My sister, she was upstairs a lot. But like I said, she suffered a lot of physical abuse from the adopted woman. Okay, so fast forward, my sister, I was 12 years old. So my sister had went to school one day, and she was just sick of the abuse, and she was only 11. So she went to the school in Newtown, and she told the guidance counselor that what was going on at home. I happened to be at home playing sick. So he was there on a lunch break, and the police and social worker were knocking at the door. And I just remember the worker telling me, it's okay, it's safe. We're gonna take you somewhere real quick. We just wanna make sure you're okay. And I was so confused. I was crying so hard. I was crying for him. It was crazy because I'm going down the stairs and the police have him to the other room. And I'm looking at him and I'm crying for him, like, what's going on? Save me. And they're actually, the authorities are saving me, but I'm looking at him like, you saved me. But obviously that was, so we were turned into the state custody. They never went to jail. Nothing happened. We did go to court, but they tried to get us back. The system said no. Then my biological father comes in. I don't know how, but he ended up coming into the court. He was trying to get us back, but the judge said no because we've been already here and we live here and whatnot. So I'm going zigzag here. I know this is confusing, but it was just so much going on.
You ever talked about this before?
No, not really. My kids, I only tell them enough. My husband knows a lot what happened. My sister doesn't talk about it because she gets angry. She never forgave my mother. She never forgave my father. So she carried a lot of hate. Me, I was more like I suppressed it, kept putting it down like it didn't happen. So anyways, we were in the system and I was getting bounced around from foster homes. So I didn't have no stability. I didn't know what was going on. So then I started rebelling, taking, not going to school, things like that. And then that's when I met my first husband. And we were young, very young. Then we ended up having my first child. So I was 17 when this all happened. And then after that, my kids were 2 years apart. I was still with my husband and my first husband. That was rough too, because we were both young. We didn't understand, we were kids raising kids, but we did the best we could. And it turned out great because they're all great now. But then it went into me starting to, I was under a lot of I didn't understand. I wanted to know. I wanted to reach out. I wanted to figure out why and where I was from. Who am I? They told me I was Filipino. Then when I was 15, my biological father was like, no, they told you that? You're Chamorro. And I'm like, what the heck is a Chamorro? I don't know what that is. So he kind of told me, and he was trying to tell me our culture, things like that. And that's when he started coming back into my life. He somehow found me through White Pages. Am I right? Phone book. So he somehow found me. He called the operator, and he's in the islands now. So he's trying to find me here in the States. He knew I was in Connecticut somewhere, but he reached out and we started talking. And he was asking questions, how this, that, and I told him, life was hard, but we're getting through. And my sister was going through a lot. She also was bouncing around. Her kids were my nieces and my nephew. She was having them at a young age. So we grew up extremely fast. There was no time to think about what happened and why this. So we just went through life just going through without really understanding.
Did your biological father understand?
He was very upset. He was very angry that the people did what they did. He trusted them. But he pretty much like just we just talked and tried to get to know each other through a phone instead of like, me going over there. So I'll just go through that, and then I'll just skip all of it, because it's a lot. So I'll go to 33. Me and my ex-husband, we divorced. Our kids, it was hard for them, but they knew what was kind of going on, and they were upset. They were upset with me, really, because I was the one that left. I left them. I left their father. It was just crazy. I did use drugs. I didn't know. At one time, I was doing cocaine. And that was like to suppress everything, put me in a good mood, because I was like, I just didn't know how to handle. I was so stressed out. I had 4 kids. I got an ex-husband that me and him are arguing every single day. So it was rough. So I started using cocaine, and it felt good. And I felt like, okay, this is good. I could get rid of all the pain and suffering that I think I'm doing. So that happened for a few years. Then I got a divorce. And at the same time, that following year, I met my husband. And I think he was definitely an angel that walked into my life, because I needed somebody to hold me, to listen to me. Because with my first husband, I didn't talk to him about anything. Like I said, we were just kids. We really didn't learn how to love. We were more like brother and sister, if really. So I started opening up with my husband. And once I started doing that, things started to come out of me. Like, I was starting to get angry, just angry for no reason. I was happy, I was sad, I was being manic, I was drinking every day. I was drinking to the point where I would pass out because I wanted to pass out. I didn't want to see anything. I was just like living, everybody thought I was living my high life, but I wasn't. I was actually suffering inside. Nobody thought anything, I was like always happy and this and that, but that was just all a mask, because at the end of the day, I was suffering. So I started falling into depression. I started realizing something wasn't right. So I got admitted to a hospital at one point, and I didn't take it seriously. I was told I have depression, bipolar, and I didn't believe it, because, again, back then that wasn't talked about. Nobody really talked about mental illness back then. So I wasn't taking my medication. Again, I was hiding it. Like, I don't need this. I don't have that. What is this? So fast forward to a few years, I had a breakdown, a really bad breakdown. It was like the worst thing that could ever happen. I started getting reunited with my biological mother, and that happened a few times. I went over there a few times and spent time with her and tried to get what I can out of her, but she really didn't talk about she didn't want to talk about it. So I left it alone. And I just said, you know what? It was her life. It happened for whatever reason. And so I just let it go. I just said, you know what? I'm going to forgive her, because there's nothing I could do now. So I started forming a relationship with her. And then like 2 years down the line, she passed, which was in February of 2018. So I got the news. I flew over there, and then I flew back. And then in May, I'll say this, from February to May, I just didn't know what I was feeling inside. I was so confused. I was angry. I didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't like my kids. I didn't like my husband. I didn't like anybody. So me and my husband, we had separated. And I was at my daughter's house. And I remember saying, that's it. I don't need to be here anymore. I don't understand my life. I don't understand where I'm going. And I definitely don't understand why I went through what I went through. So I did the unthinkable. I tried to take my life. I really did. I really did. So should I say what I did or no?
Sure.
Okay. I took every medication I had that was there. Literally everything. I didn't think about it twice. I didn't have a view of my kids in my head. I didn't see I just like blacked out and I just took everything. Not thinking of the damage I would do with my family. I didn't think of anything. So I took it. 14 hours later, the next morning, my daughter found me. I was in the room and my whole body had fell onto my arm. So when my daughter found me, I was like dead, like pretty much gone. I can't believe I even lasted 14 hours. So my arm was like a football. It was all the blood, literally. I stopped all the blood, like I guess my body weight. So they called 911. I get to the hospital and my kids, because my husband wasn't there, my kids had to make the decision if they could try to save the arm or amputate the arm. And I felt so bad after I knew all this that they had to make I can't even talk right now, decision, because I was pretty much like in a coma. Like I was on the what do you call it? The ventilator. I was on all that, all the machines, and they had to make the call. So they tried to save it, which they told the doctor, try to do as much as you can to save it, and see what happens there, because they had to make the decision: amputate it or save it. So they chose that, which I'm grateful. So when I woke up in the hospital, I didn't know I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anything. I was like, why am I here? Da da da. And I see my son, I see my husband to the side, and I'm just so like, what? I'm in so like la la land. I just don't know what's going on. So that's when I woke up, and after I started coming out of it, I looked at my arm. I'm like, why is my arm bandaged? And the nurse wouldn't say anything. She didn't say anything at first. She was like, oh, I'll go get the doctor. So a little while after, the doctor came, and he realized that, not he realized, but he just pretty much said, your arm is no good. Like the damage that you did, the nerves, everything. We could try to see if therapy helps in the future, blah, blah, blah. So.
How's your arm? No.
It's there, but I can't pick. I can't close my hand. I try to do what I can with it, but it's pretty much like there's no nerves there. It's pretty much, I've had multiple surgeries. I had a skin graft from my thigh. That hurt to know what I did to my arm. So every day is like I have to see it, and I just reminds me of every day, like, wow, I lived through that. And I'm grateful that I'm alive now. I went through intensive therapy, I was like seeing a therapist twice a week, every week. And it helped. It really did, because I didn't think I could come out of it. That's how depressed I was.
It was only 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, 2018, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And then I went through therapy, and everything was going well. And then in 2021, I did it again. I went through, I'm telling you, it was an up-down thing with me. 1 minute I was fine, thinking I could handle it. I had therapy. I thought I was doing okay. And then in Thanksgiving of 2001, literally Thanksgiving, I did it again. I tried to take my life. And again, I think it's just everything inside of me. I just didn't know. I still didn't understand how come I wasn't recovering. I wasn't feeling right. You know, why am I going through this? And I just got so depressed, I did it again. And I hurt my family again. So that again was like embarrassing. I don't know if I should say that, because I actually survived to see their reaction. And I know they probably felt bad for me, but deep down inside, I felt so ashamed. I just felt like a coward, that I wasn't talking or telling. And I think that was my problem, because I just never shared it. I never wanted to talk about it. And I had to go through therapy again. And it's a struggle. Bipolar depression. That's what I got.
Oh,
PTSD. I got that too.
Have you been diagnosed?
Yeah, definitely. I was diagnosed, and I was diagnosed before, like in 2015, but I didn't take it serious. I wasn't taking the medication. But it was 2018 where I woke up and I said, you know what? I got to take this serious. I guess I am. Because I was going through the ups, the downs, the mood swings, major mood swings. I'd cry, happy, sad, all in like 10 minutes. I didn't understand that. But
Did you look at these events that have happened in your adult life as the after effects of a childhood without love?
yeah, I think that's what it is. We didn't have love. We were told to be silent. Don't you share your feelings. Don't you tell what's in this house. Don't talk about nothing. So I grew up with that. And I never really got out of that. I just kept carrying that thing in my head, like, don't talk about it. You know, it's nothing. It's all in your head type thing.
How many children do you have?
I have 4.
You have 4. How
Yeah.
are they?
They're great. They're doing really good.
So you're doing a good job with them.
I did. I gotta say. Yeah. I tried. I really tried. Their father, too. He's a good guy. And we tried to do the best we could with them.
So you're breaking the cycle.
I'm trying, yeah. And it's still going. I can't say it,
Sounds
you know, it's still, every day is a new day. Every day is a different day. Every day, you know, you just got to think of that you survived it. And, you know, it's definitely like, got to get that help. If you don't get that help, you're struggling and struggling for the rest of your life until you do.
Plus your husband seems great.
Yeah, he is. He's a great support. He's been through both suicide attempts, and it was hard for him. And I felt so bad, like, I can't believe I did this to him, my kids, my whole family. And so now we try to help others with it, because that's all we could do. We could just try to help. And the little bit that we do, we feel like, you know, it's making an impact with somebody somehow.
It probably helps you as well.
Yeah. And even though I don't share my story, I try to like help them or whoever it may be.
A child who grows up without love is going to have a
Yeah.
whole series of
Yeah, there was
these
a lot
kinds
of events.
it's
And
chaos.
yeah, it was definitely chaos. So now, through it all, I still get my therapy. I am on the right medication now. That was just a whole nother thing, because you got to find the right thing to help you.
Therapy's helpful?
Yeah, therapy, definitely. If I didn't have that, then I'd probably be in a bad spot again.
To keep these things secret,
Yeah,
it's got to be just poisonous.
it is. It really is. And I feel bad because, like, my sister, she goes through it, but she's worse than me. She really doesn't, like, the talk of it makes her angry. You know, just if I even make, like, a comment, she gets very angry. And I don't want to get her angry. But she sees her view, I see mine. We kind of, like, stopped talking. I don't know why. We just started drifting off. My other siblings, I have one in Seattle. We don't talk that much either. So none of them. We're kind of like all...
You guys all deal with it differently.
Yeah, we do. We do. And yeah, so it's the help. Like, you know, you got to get the help. And if you don't get it, like, you're just all that struggle, and I just feel bad because I should have got the help earlier.
I mean, when you were a child and you're going through this crazy sexual abuse from your adopted father and the verbal, psychological
and physical,
abuse
yeah.
from
Yeah,
your adopted mom, were you and your sister just like, or were you just kids that didn't know any?
We were kids, and we, like I said, we started figuring out things weren't right, you know? Birthdays, holidays, you know, just, we would go to fancy parties, and we weren't allowed to interact. We just stand there, look pretty, wear this fancy little dress, wear your little ruffled socks, you know, just stand there. And that's what me and my sister did. We didn't go play. We just sat there around the table with the adults so they could get all this credit, like, yeah, I adopted these kids, da 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 da. And we were just like, I don't know. We were just kids.
But it didn't turn you into a dark,
Yeah.
evil person.
No. Thank God. Yeah, so they adopted us for all the wrong reasons. And we just happened to be the kids that happened to be the ones that went through it with them. She used to lock us in the basement. That was another thing. She loved doing that. If we didn't do what we were told, she'd throw things at me. Like, I have cuts on my foot. She'd just throw a plate at me, just like that. Just, you didn't do this, bam. And that's how she was. And I think she was angry because of what her husband was doing. I think that's why she was taking all that anger out on me. And then my sister, she would just do it. She was just awful.
Have any of those behaviors been things that you've picked up with your children?
Silence. Don't talk.
No,
Yeah.
but like
The physical?
what your adopted parents did to you.
No. Like, towards my kids?
Yeah.
No.
So how do you
How did
learn to treat your kids differently when you come from crap?
I wanted to give them something I didn't have, which was love. And I wasn't very affectionate to my kids, but I definitely I would always say, you know, I love you, you know what I mean, or do good in school, but I really didn't embrace them when they were kids. I tried.
Well, I mean, everyone has different styles. And
Yeah.
There's many different ways of showing love.
Yeah, so I was very protective of my girls, you know. Don't talk to this. I did the whole talk with them and always watched and made sure they were okay. But I think I did okay in life. And I'm still going through day by day, every day. You know,
Michelle, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned from this?
Don't put a Band-Aid on it. Heal the cut. Heal it. Stitch it. Heal it. Let it dry up. I mean, that's what I'm going through. I'm trying to pick that Band-Aid up because the more it says it's going to get infected, right? So that's what happened with me. I got so infected, I blew up. I just didn't know what to do with my life. But I'm stable. That's a good thing.
You're on medication now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Antidepressants?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm in a better place now. And like I said, I still get therapy. I need that. I believe people should get that because it helps.
Everybody could use it.
Yeah. And then my husband, he's also my, he's my therapist. If I feel like I'm overwhelmed or I have this super anxiety, I have crazy nightmares. He's always trying to shake me because he tells me I talk in my sleep, I jump, I sweat. It's a lot of nightmares because there's so much more in my childhood, but it's.
I mean, they should be teaching these skills in high school rather than trigonometry and things that were.
But you think about it back then. No,
No,
I
didn't even people didn't.
I didn't even know there was no such thing as depression. What?
No, but as a partner, as a wife, husband, whatever, you're almost that's part of the job is being a therapist. To your
Support,
partner,
yeah.
to understand what they're going through, even if they're not explaining it, not talking about it.
Yeah. And it's funny because he suffers bipolar, and it's we're both like we're each other's crutch. We help each other out. When he's down and I'm down, we're like we try so hard to encourage one another and give that support and love and just just be there because you need somebody to talk to. You can't hold it all down. That's what I did. And that's about it.
All right. Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Hope it makes you feel better.
I hope so too.
Thank you.
Thank you.